we're going to be jumping in talking about Google Infused leadership and 7 ways that we can infuse Google into our work. So we're going to talk about productivity and dive into a few things. And we're also going to spend a little time talking about the new education leader standards that are from ISTE. So let's go ahead and dive in. And let me make sure I'm clicking the right button. That would work. All right, so a little bit about me. My information is here. And so I am a digital learning consultant. I actually work with Catherine at Region 10. And so I work as a digital learning consultant. We work with districts around the Dallas area. And so that is primarily what we do is we work with districts on helping them being able to integrate technology and really empower learners in a variety of different ways. So if you want to reach out to me, please feel free to. You can click on the link and it will actually take you to my Twitter. And so love connecting with others. So please feel free to check out that, and we will talk and connect further after the event. So a couple of other things. And so if you want to share a little bit, you can use the hashtag. And Sarah, since you were so awesome at that, that is a reminder. So ECG 2018, am I correct? Awesome. Am I not correct? I see some heads shaking. So we're going to go with that for now. And so, but share out. And so tweet, we'd love to connect and share out things that you're picking up from the sessions and throughout the day. So, all right. So we're going to look at ways that we can maximize our productivity with G Suite and some collaborative tools that we can use as well. And so one of the things as we dive in, and I'm really excited about, is that ISTE has just released the Education Leaders Standards. And if you have not got a chance to check those out, please check those out. They were just released at the last ISTE at the end of June. And I'm really excited about them because I think they continue the process for us to be able to look at ways that we can really enforce and have a clear kind of picture of what we are wanting to do when it comes to being more intentional about being able to support learning as we integrate technology and really make that shift from kind of the old way that we've done things in the past to kind of a new way. So you can see that there's equity and citizenship advocate, which is a great one. I'm glad that that's actually the first one because I think that's really important for us to really focus on being able to be advocates across the board for all of our students, for all of our teachers, and really being able to make sure that we can be that leader who's really pushing for change to provide those equity opportunities. And as you can see here, there's several others: visionary planner, empowering leader, systems designer, and connected learner. Those are all of the new standards for education leaders. I am currently a part of the ISTE at Administrators PLN, and we're going to be doing a couple of intentional things to be able to help kind of show how you can better integrate those into the work you're doing as educational leaders. So just be prepared for some of those things. If you'd like to connect with that PLN group, I've put the link down here at the bottom. Please check that out. If you're a part of any ISTE PLN groups, just kind of a shameless plug, we're looking to connect with you. So please reach out. We want to partner and build those relationships and really see how we can help support you in the efforts that you're doing as well. So shameless plug, but I think it's okay, right? All right, so we're going to look at what is a Google Infused leader. So a Google Infused leader is someone who is continually looking to improve and leverage technology to do so. That is an important part of being able to be a Google Infused leader, is to look at ways that we can constantly improve and grow. It is not enough for us to simply be able to be in a position where we are leading others and to be comfortable where we are. We want to continually grow and to continue to move forward. It also is a person who is looking for new ways to collaborate with others. One of the things I love talking with students about is the fact that it is not enough for you to just collaborate with people in the same room. It really is important for you to begin to look at ways that you can collaborate beyond your space. So many times, and I'm in Texas, I have the great privilege of being a coach in Texas at a university. And one of the things that I ran into constantly is kids that had never been out of the state of Texas before. So they never had the exposure of being just one state over. And I think about the way technology really is empowering us today and really allowing for us to really collaborate with anyone, anywhere, at any time. And I think as leaders, we have to do that as well. We have to be willing to connect with others. And I think this is an event that shows that there is power with coming together and sharing our ideas and sharing our thoughts to be able to improve what we're doing. And then lastly, is someone who models how to learn in the age of Google. That is something where I am a firm believer that as an educational leader, we have to model. It's not enough to just say, hey, here's this great technology piece, here's this great tool, here's this great way of being able to do things differently. So go do it, but I'm never going to change my practice. I'm never going to change the things I'm doing. There's part of the process of being able to understand that we have to be able to connect and be able to continually learn and model that for our staff and for the people that we're working with and for. So with that said, I know many of you may know this person. If you guys do not, this is Alice Keeler. She makes one of my favorite phrases. She says we have to teach like Google exists. That is a really, for me, I think that's an important thing to think about, is that we can no longer teach like Google doesn't exist. Our kids know that they can go search. If they want to find out when was the ballot for the Alamo, when did it take place, they can type it in, they can get there, and they can see it. I also think that if we take a little bit further, we have to lead like Google exists. We have a lot of tools, and Google provides a variety of different tools that allow for us to be able to connect and share information and interact with each other, to collaborate more effectively. And we need to leverage those tools to be able to continue to empower learners and to empower ourselves as well. So let's look at the ways that we're going to talk about how to infuse G Suite into the work that we're doing. So these are the 7 ways. I want to focus on how we can infuse Google into the things that we're doing. So let's go ahead and jump in. I'll give you guys a second to take a look at these. And then we'll jump into the first one. So obviously in the chat, please feel free to share and jump in and share any comments, questions. We'll have some time at the end to be able to discuss. I want to hear some things that you're doing as well. So if you have in one of these areas where you want to share some things, please drop those in as well. Love to discuss, love to have those conversations as well. So let's go ahead and jump forward. So a couple of things I just want to point out. If you are still using Internet Explorer, and Catherine's going to love this, and so if you're still using Internet Explorer, we beg you, please stop. And so it is not, we'll take this as an intervention. We want you to improve your life, and we want you to move away from Internet Explorer. And so if you are using Internet Explorer, there are a lot of different reasons why you would want to use Chrome over Internet Explorer. But what I'll tell you this is, if you're going to be using Google, it's really important to think about how are you going to get the best bang for using Google. And I believe that is by using Google Chrome as your browser. So there's a lot of things that unlock when you do that. And so that's one of the things I would encourage you to do. So a couple of things just to kind of touch bases on so we're on the same page. Keep in mind that when you're signing into Google and signing into Chrome, those are 2 separate things. And I'm going to show you really quickly. And so give me 1 second to pop out. So if you are looking on your Chrome browser and you see a little Head and Shoulders up in this area, that's a pretty good indicator that you are not signed into Chrome. And so what most people will do is, when they are actually signing into, or they think they're signing into Chrome, they will actually, and I'm going to open up a new incognito window. Don't be nervous. It is okay. I know some people are afraid of incognito window, but most people will click on the blue rectangle here, and that is only signing into Google. You're only getting access to Google Drive and just kind of the core apps, so Google Docs, Google Sheets. You're not getting the full experience that Google would like you to have. So what we always recommend is that you want to make sure that you sign into Chrome. And so you can do that a few different ways. You can click on the little Head and Shoulders, and it'll allow for you to sign in. You also can click on the 3 dots, and then you can actually go down to Settings, and that will also allow for you to be able to sign in as well in this area. So those are a couple ways you can do that. And what I would highly encourage you to get the full experience is to make sure that you're actually signed into Chrome and not just into Google. So as we move forward, couple of things just kind of keep in mind. If you're looking at why would I want to use Chrome, here are some reasons just to kind of think about. Google Chrome is getting a lot of the lion's share of use. A lot of people are using Google Chrome in today's age or today's time. And a couple of things to kind of think in mind, that these are some things that you benefit from using Chrome. So think about the fact that Chrome gives you a lot of ability to kind of make it your own and add some additional things in it to make it run kind of as a personalized browser. And we'll talk a little bit about how those extensions can work and give you that additional functionality here in a second. But also you get the ability to sync your bookmarks across all of your devices. That is a huge thing for me. I'm an Android user, but even if you're an iOS user, you can use that to be able to connect and to quickly be able to be working on something on a desktop or a PC or a tablet or a smartphone and quickly pick up exactly where you left off if you're signed into all of those Chrome browsers with your Google account. So that's a great thing for me. Incognito mode is also a great thing to be able to use. You saw me use it earlier. It's a quick way for you to be able to just kind of access your account without having to be in necessarily signing into your Google account through just a normal browser. It's a way for you to really be able to surf the web privately, but you can use it in a few different ways as well. If you ever, just kind of a quick tip, if you're ever looking for flights, it's a good way for you to be able to hide from those browsers that are tracking what you're doing, or those sites that are tracking what you're doing. The other thing is if you've ever shopped for anything, you've noticed that the banners and the ads, after you've gone to Amazon and you go into another site, all of those banners kind of match up. Those cookies are following you and kind of tracking that shopping behavior. And incognito mode is a good way to avoid those things. So a lot of good reasons to use Google Chrome, and definitely something I would encourage you to check out. So really quickly, we're going to dive into some Chrome extensions and some ones that I recommend and kind of help you to infuse that into your workflow. But a good question just to kind of ask is, what is a Chrome extension? So really quickly, in the chat, if you guys will drop in kind of what your thoughts of what a Chrome extension is, and then we're going to jump back in and have a little bit of discussion. All right, so while that's happening, thank you. See some comments coming in. So a couple of things just to think about. For me, the easiest way for me to explain and just kind of share what a Chrome extension is think of your Chrome browser as, let's say if you were buying an outfit, that is an outfit that you typically are not just gonna buy the outfit and nothing else. What you're typically gonna do as well is you're gonna pick up some accessories. And that's one of those things that if you look at your Chrome browser, if you think of it as that outfit, you would use Chrome extensions as kind of accessories to your Chrome browser. And one of the things that's really powerful with that is to think about that everyone has accessories, and those accessories are different for every single person. No one person, no two people are going to have the exact same accessories across the board. And that's really how Google designed your Chrome browser and your Chrome extension experience. They want you to be able to use those extensions and to individualize them for you for what you need in your workflow and in your productivity. So think of your Chrome extensions as those accessories to your Chrome browsers, and we'll talk about some of those ones. Some of the ones I'm going to share with you, you're not going to want to use. Some you're going to be, hey, this is perfect. This fits exactly what I need to do. So you add it in. So this image, if you click on the image, it'll actually walk you through how to add extensions, but we're going to go ahead and jump forward so that we can make sure that we're maximizing our time. So a couple of things that we're going to talk about first, and this is our first way to infuse Google or G Suite into your leadership, and that is a couple of extensions that are here. So if you have not used Toby for Chrome, and the links are here. If you click on the links, is an excellent tool to be able to use. I've used Toby for Chrome for quite a while. And so it was actually shared with me by a colleague, Ashley Gillum, and it is a great tool. It is based off of a term that is, I believe it's a production term, and it's called Kanban. And I may be butchering that, but if I am, please forgive me. And the premise, if you ever had a session where you have had a whiteboard and you've taken sticky notes and you've kind of organized them all over the board and just kind of to collect your thoughts and kind of move it around to make sure that you can make sense of it. That's really what Toby is doing. It's allowing for you to take all of the tabs that are in your Chrome browser, and then it's allowing for you to organize those in such a way that you can quickly access them. So let me show you what that looks like. So Toby, this is what Toby looks like. So you can see here I've set up a couple of boards here, and these are different boards. I have one that says training, I have one for social media, I have one for EdTech, and I have one for Google. Over here to the far right, you can see that these are all of the tabs that I currently have open. So how Toby works is I can actually take these tabs that are here that I currently have open, and I can drag those and add them to a board. What that allows for me to be able to do is I can quickly now, if I want to come in one day and I want to open up all these tabs at one time, I can click this button here and all of those tabs open at one time. And so it's quickly, I can quickly get to information. Think about those times when you're trying to, maybe it is, there's certain things you do every single day when you come into wherever you're at. Or maybe there's certain things you do certain times of the month and you want to make sure that you can quickly get to all of the links that you need to. You can set those up in Toby and quickly access them. The other thing is you have the ability inside of Toby to share out those boards with other people. So if I wanted to actually share out this EdTech board that I've created, I can click here where it says share, and it'll actually give me a link that I can share out to others so that they can quickly be able to access all of the tabs that I have that are there. Now, Toby works great to be able to do that, and it's one, like I said, I highly recommend you check out. But one of the things you need to know about Toby is that Toby actually replaces your homepage. So you no longer would have the normal or the typical homepage that you have, and you would now have your board that looks, or your homepage that looks exactly like you see on my screen. And so some people don't like that. Some people don't want to give up their homepage. So one of the things you can do is, you can see on the slides, I've actually linked also to Toby Mini. Toby Mini is exactly like Toby for Chrome, but only the difference is that it's not going to replace your homepage. So you can keep your homepage, you can still use it as normal, but you still get the functionality of using Toby. The other thing to keep in mind is that Toby, there is a mobile version of Toby, so you can check that out as well. But once again, it's a great way for you to organize information and then be able to share that information out as well. So the next one that's here is OneTab. OneTab is one of my favorite, and I've mentioned Ashley earlier before, and but I want to mention her one more time because Ashley is notorious for having a lot of tabs open when she's working, when she's planning, when she's researching things and she's putting together sessions. She'll have her tabs open. And one of the tools that she uses is she uses OneTab. And OneTab allows for her to be able to quickly, all the tabs that are open, condense those all down into one tab so that she can pause the work that she's doing. And then when she's ready to resume, she can click that one tab and bring back all of the tabs exactly where they left off. So it's a quick way for her to quickly be able to access that information and pick up exactly where she left off. So I'm going to give you a quick example of what that looks like. And so give me 1 second. So here's just a couple of tabs that I have open. One tab looks like this when you install it as an extension. It looks like a little funnel. When I click on it, it actually reduces all of my tabs into one tab. You'll notice that all of the tabs that I have open, and I had 2 open, so they're right here. I can restore all, I can delete all, or I can also share as a web page. If I click share as a web page, it gives me a new link. So I can take this URL here and share this out, or I can also use the QR code that is here and add that to a number of different ways. So if I want to share out the QR code, or if I wanted to put that QR code onto a poster or a flyer, anyone who scans that or clicks on that link, they're going to get all of those tabs at one time. They're going to be able to access that information. Instead of me sending out a bunch of links, they can quickly access that. So it's great in the classroom. It's also great if you're trying to share information out with your staff or with parents as well. So OneTab is definitely a great resource to be able to have. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the restore all and get all of those tabs back exactly where I left off. And you can see that here. And so jumping back over into our presentation. So the last one that is here for curating your professional learning is Save to Pocket. Pocket is one of my favorite tools to use. Pocket is a great way for when you're researching or you're doing anything or collecting information. You can use Pocket to be able to almost bookmark the things that you're looking for, and it's going to drop them into a pocket so that you can save that information for later to be able to come back to. That is great. It's a great tool to use, but there are a lot of things that allow for you to bookmark and to be able to come back to things later. There's Digo, there's just bookmarking and using the Chrome browser to bookmark things. But one of the things I love about Save the Pocket is the fact that it actually gives you recommendations on things. If you pocket something, it'll find additional articles that are along the same line. So it kind of helps you do some of those research, some of the research that you're trying to do. one of my favorite features also is the ability to anything that is text-based that you add into your Pocket, you have the ability to turn that over into an audio file. So if it is something that you have taken and you've put it into your Pocket, you can use the feature to convert that over, and you now have an audio file that you can listen to at any time. So that's a great way to kind of streamline, especially if you're in the car. And I can see I'm sure that we're going to have several people that are going to be all over the place during EdChange Global, and that is something I would tell you that is highly beneficial to be able to just kind of streamline accessing that information. So let me show you really quickly what Pocket looks like. And so this is the Chrome extension, and you have the link to that as well. But this is Pocket, and you'll notice here that even if I come here just to the Pocket site and actually search for terms, I can search for education on Pocket, and all of these articles are articles that have populated into this search. And so Pocket is a great resource for that, for you to quickly be able to access information. Using the extension, once again, it sets in your Chrome browser. So any website, anything, or any resource you come to, you can simply click that button and you'll have access to it. So definitely a good resource to be able to use, and a good way for you to kind of share and collect that information that you are wanting to come back to at a later time. All right, so jumping forward, and we are about the halfway mark, so I'm going to go through the next slides and touch bases and try to leave some time for us to be able to discuss any questions that you may have. But let's talk about conquering your inbox. So I know a lot of people are starting to use Gmail at the districts across the regions that we work in. And I know that may be the same case for you as well. But what I would tell you is that even with Gmail being a great tool to be able to use, there's also kind of some things that can be frustrating with Gmail. I know a lot of people, when I'm doing trainings and talking about Gmail, a lot of people struggle with the fact of where are the folders? Where do I find things? And they run into, okay, explain the labels and help me understand labels and how that differs from using folders and things along those lines. So one of the tools that I've recommended, and some of these other things that I just want you to keep in mind as you're trying to conquer your inbox, is these tools allow for you to kind of help streamline the process when you're working inside of Gmail. Some of them have work in other email clients as well, but I would tell you that we're going to focus here primarily on Gmail. So Sorted is similar to Toby, but it works inside of your Gmail. So if you like the idea of Toby and the way you can organize things and use kind of that board and kind of slide things around and organize, you can use Sorted to do something very similar inside of your Gmail. So if you wanted to be able to allow for your inbox to be able to look like that, and now you have your to-dos, you have things that maybe you can get back to at a later time, and things that are urgent and that you need to take care of quickly. Sorted allows for you to organize those boards and allow for you to quickly be able to access those things. So definitely one I would tell you to check out and try out. It's free to be able to use, and definitely worth giving a try. A couple other things I just want you to kind of keep in mind is that Google is most known for search. And so it's one of those things that I think that now in education that we use Google, a lot of people are using Google more and more, that we start to sometimes forget that Google started with search. And that is really, really important to keep in mind, that when you're using any of the Google products, that a lot of the search features that they have when you're searching on Google, they also work in the applications that Google has provided for you as well. So what I would encourage you to do is to use the search operators and use those when you're searching inside of Gmail. I'm going to give you this example inside of just the standard if you are just doing a Google search. So I'm going to open this up really quickly and do a quick search. So if I'm using Google, and let's say that I'm searching for Jaguars. If I can, there we go. If I can actually spell today, that would work. So if I'm searching for Jaguars, you can see here I have a search that is that has just appeared, and you can see I have a variety of things that are showing up. But maybe you don't want cars in the search that you're doing. So one of the things you can do is actually just do minus car, and then do the search again, and you'll notice that all of those results that had to do with cars are removed. this is the same way that I'm searching here, I can do inside of Gmail as well. So I can actually set that, and let's say I'm searching for something, but I'm getting a lot of results that are actually messing up the search and things that I'm not looking for. If you use the same search operator inside of Gmail, you can remove a lot of those things to make it a little more streamlined so you can actually get to the information a lot faster. So I've left a link so that you can get to all of the different search operators that you can use for that. So it's definitely something I would encourage you to check out and allow for you to be able to be more efficient when you're working inside of Gmail. So a couple other things that are here, and the canned responses, there's a link there that'll explain how to use canned responses to save yourself some time when you're needing to send out emails multiple times. This is a quick way for you to be able to do that. Another thing that you can do is that if you've ever run into getting and I won't mention anything specifically, but if you've ever run into having things where you're in a thread of information or emails, and that email is something that you're getting so many emails you would like to mute, that you can mute that under the more section under inside of your Gmail, which will allow for you to remove those so that you're not getting flooded with those emails during the time where you're trying to be efficient with your work. So if you're not aware, the new Gmail is active. So that is something that you can select. There are a few districts I've run into that have not activated the new Gmail. So if you run into that at your campus or in your district, that may be something you need to talk with your super admin. If you have a personal account, it is something that's available for you to get whenever you're ready. But there are a lot of great new features that are available inside of the new Gmail. You finally have quick access to things like calendar, notes, and tasks, which is great that you have that integration. The other thing to kind of keep in mind is the artificial intelligence that Google has been putting across the board in their apps is available for you to be able to access and use. So that's something that you can see. I'm going to show you a little bit later kind of how the artificial intelligence works in some of the other applications, but it's a good way for you to quickly be able to find things, and over time the artificial intelligence helps you to be able to quickly access information that you're trying to get to. The other things to kind of keep in mind is that you now have the ability to have self-destructing emails, which I know has been a feature in Outlook and other email clients for a very long time, but now that is something that is available for you to be able to access inside of Gmail as well. So if you haven't checked out the new Gmail, definitely check it out. I think you'll welcome the new improvements to Gmail. All right, so moving forward and looking at how we can look at sharing and communicating with Google. These are a couple of things I just want to kind of point out and talk through with you. So first off, one of the things, if you have not done this yet, I would encourage you to look at doing, and that is moving all of your handbooks and guides and things that are currently on paper and moving those into a digital format inside of Google Drive and Google Docs to be able to have that quick access and the ability to be able to kind of save some headaches. One of the things that I did at the campus that I worked in and in the district is provide an opportunity for us to be able to have our documents inside of a Google Drive, allow for greater collaboration, for us to get more eyes on those documents, to be able to make sure that they are the absolute best product that we can share out with our stakeholders. But the other thing it allows for to do is that to avoid that dreaded moment where you've created this and you've printed out all of these documents, or you've emailed out all of these documents or linked to these documents that you've created, and then there's a mistake, and now you have to go correct it, and then you have to resend an email, or you're reprinting. This allows for it that you share out those links to those documents. If there ends up being something that you need to correct, you can go in and make that change. And when they click on the link again, they're going to get the most updated version. So I would highly encourage you to look at transitioning those over. We did our course catalog and all of our handbooks inside of Google Drive and Google Docs, and that definitely allowed for us to be more efficient, to be able to collaborate and to be able to share notes and leave comments within those documents. So the next one I'm going to talk about here is Google Keep, which is a great application. It is a mobile app that you can download, but it also is something that you can use inside of your browser. So I'm going to step out really quickly, and I'm going to show you Google Keep and Google Calendar. And so these are two applications that are available inside of G Suite that have been great for me to be able to use as I've worked with my staff in a variety of different roles. So the first one is Google Keep, and if you've not used Google Keep, think of it as virtual Post-it notes. It's a quick way for you to jot notes. So if I want to jot a note here, I can simply add the information here really quickly. And I can do a couple of things that are similar to Google Docs. If I want to add collaborators and have other people share and add to this note, I can do that as well. One of the things I did on my campus is that anytime we had moments where we were wanting to be able to have notes taken from that session or things that we noticed, so that when we debrief that we can talk through those things, we would have a Google Keep and everyone would drop in their notes and different things into the Google Keep, things they saw, things that we need to talk about. You don't always remember every single thing if you're just trying to recall it from memory of the things you saw during that event. But this is a good way for us to be able to drop in and share those notes really quickly. We can see, we can comment, and we can have access to be able to come back at a later time to be able to address anything we noticed during that event. A couple other things that are available here, and I'm just going to put a quick title here. You also have a couple other things that are available. You'll notice here, I can label, I can add a drawing, I can add images and things along those lines into here. I can do check boxes, but you also have the ability to copy this information over into a Google Doc or convert it over into a Google Doc, which is a great feature to have. So you'll see here when I have the note, I only have one note. So even if I do the pin here, you'll notice that it's just going to add a pin here, and it's still at the top. But if I had multiple notes here, all my pin notes are going to be at the very top and allow me to access those really quickly. So Google Keep is a great way to be able to just quickly take notes, shopping lists, quick notes at home, or also be able to share with your colleagues at work to be able to jot down notes and even be able to share information that way as well. So jumping over, let's talk about Google Calendar. And if you're not aware that Google Calendar has been updated with a lot of new features, so definitely check it out. But I'm going to just highlight a couple of features that I think that are really beneficial, especially as educational leaders. So the first thing I'm going to have here is I'm going to show you how easy it is to now set appointments and to provide that with your staff. So let's say I have a block of time that I'm going to look to meet with my staff, and I want to send out a link so that they can schedule that time with me. If I just, and let me back out of this really quick so you can see that. If I highlight the section of time that I'm saying this is when I'm going to be available, I can then go to where it says appointment slots, and I can set how long I want those slots to be. So let's say I want each slot to be 15 minutes. And then it is going to be with me, and it's going to be on my calendar. And then if I hit save, then that's going to give me the ability to get a link that I can share out. And then that allows for me to be able to quickly be able to share this out with others and be able to allow for them to select different times for them to be able to make an appointment with me during that time that I've set as being available. So it's a quick and easy place for you to be able to do that. And if they're using Google, so if they're in your district and they're your staff members or they are whatever that may be, this is going to add to their calendar as well. So that way it is going to be on both your calendars, and you'll have, if you have a reminder, it'll give them a reminder as well. That is also true for parents. So if they have Google, they'll be able to do that as well. And it should also give them a way for, if they don't have Google, that they can add it to their whatever calendar app that they're using at the time. So it's a quick way for you to be able to do that. It's something I think that is really beneficial to be able to use to quickly be able to set those appointments. So the next thing I'm going to kind of point out really quickly that I actually love inside of Google Calendar now as well is that you can actually set a conference really easy now. So if you want, you can actually set it inside of the settings. You can set it to so that every time you create a calendar invite, it also gives the option to have a conference set up with Google Hangouts or Google Meet right off the bat. So you can do that if you're setting up, if you don't have that setting set up. You can also do that here by hitting Add Conference, and you can set up Hangouts Meet, and that'll allow for you to be able to have a conference built into the calendar invite that you send out. So a huge time saver, especially when you have those moments where you may have a moment where you're scrambling to have people get connected, someone can't attend the meeting, but that's a good way to have that pre-built into your calendar invite. So a couple of ways that I would encourage you to use Google Calendar. Definitely check it out if you have not used Google Calendar recently, because I think there's some new features that are there that are really beneficial. All right, so here's some additional resources if you want to check those out when it comes to Google Keep. So try those out, and I think you'll find some benefits there. A couple of things I'm going to talk about really quickly as we come close to our time is Google Forms. If you've not been using Google Forms, that's something I definitely would encourage you to check out. Google Forms is a great way for you to be able to collect information especially if you're trying to collect some information from, or to do surveys. Anytime that you're looking to collect information from a large group of individuals, it's a good tool for you to be able to use. Even think about, and one of the examples I have here is that if you have a potluck, there are ways that you can use Google Forms to be able to quickly collect information of who's bringing what. One of the things I've shared before is that I was typically the person that wanted to bring plates and forks, but we know that oftentimes that can be a lot of people trying to do that at once. And so one of the things that you can do is to use a add-on called Choice Eliminator, and that allows for you to eliminate the choices whenever you run into a situation where you want to make sure that you're not getting multiple people bringing things, or multiple people selecting an option that really you don't want more than one person or more than two people actually making that selection. A couple other things that are here. If you've not looked at form logic, you can click on level 2. So you have 3 different options here. If you're wanting to just get started with Google Forms, there are some resources here that'll help you kind of get started with that. If you're wanting to kind of go and try a little bit more beyond the basics, you can click here on level 2 and check out the form logic. And form logic, and think about that as just the branching. If you ever have a situation where you're wanting to have questions for a specific group, so maybe, hey, did you attend this event? Okay, then answer these questions. Or if they click on the link and they say, did you attend this event? No, I didn't attend this event. Then it takes them to the submit button where they don't have to answer any questions and they're not muddying up the data that you're trying to collect. And then the last option that's here is the ability, if you really want to kind of challenge yourself with Google Forms, is to check out how you can automate your meetings. It is going to be a little more detailed with the steps that you're going to have to go through, but it also is a great way for you, if you'll follow along, a way for you to be able to streamline your meeting agendas and that process for your campus. So, all right, so let's talk a little bit about, we mentioned earlier, the artificial intelligence built inside of Google, and then just really quickly touch on a few things inside of Google Sheets. So I'm going to jump over or jump out of the presentation really quickly. And this is a Google Sheet that I have here, and I just want to show a couple of things here, just if you're not aware of them, that are available. And I don't want to nerd out too much, but I may nerd out a little bit here, so just bear with me. So a couple of things that I'm really excited about. I mentioned earlier that I'm an Android user. So one of the things I've been able to benefit from is that I get the ability to be able to use Google Assistant on my smartphone at all times. If you're an iOS fan, don't be offended, but I'll tell you that Google Assistant is a much smarter, in my opinion, assistant, because it has a lot of artificial intelligence and machine learning that's at work, that's allowing for you to be able to access things a lot quicker. To put it in context, if you think about it, and I know Siri's getting a little bit smarter in this area, but if you've ever asked Siri, who's the 44th president of the United States? You know, Google Assistant and Siri can both answer that question, but if you ask, well, how tall is he? Google Assistant is going to answer that question for you because it understands in context, but Siri may struggle with that a little bit. So that's something to just kind of keep in mind, that that type of technology is being applied in a variety of different ways inside of Google. So I have a document here, and you can actually get to this document if you come to this little icon down here at the bottom where it says Explore. If I click here, it actually gives me the ability to access data here. But if I didn't have any data here and I just had an empty document, it actually would give me the ability to get to this document or make a copy of this document that is just basically some data that I can play with. You can try this with your information, but I'm going to use this data here. So if I hit the Explore tool, you'll notice that when I come in here, I have a couple of different options that are really cool inside of Google to be able to use. So the first thing you'll notice is that I have a box here that I can actually ask a question to the Explore tool, and it actually will, based on the data, give me a response. So if I wanted to be able to just quickly access, I'm going to use one of the ones that are here, count the winners, and I get that answer back. I get the ability to be able to have and know how many how many winners were actually here based on this data. So really simple, really quick, but over time, if you're asking certain questions or the data sets that you're using, you're going to get your questions that are going to be more refined to the things that you're doing, which is a great way for you to quickly be able to digest the data and be able to work with the data that's there. A couple other things that are available here on the Explore tool is you have the ability to be able to format the information that you have here. So if I want to change the formatting options of the information, I can do that very quickly here. And so you can see how quickly that is done. The other thing that is available for you is if you've ever worked with pivot tables, and pivot tables are your best friend, but they can be a little complicated to kind of get started using. You can actually have the Explorer tool actually do the work for you. So you'll notice here I have the ability that if I want to build a pivot table, I can actually click here and actually be able to have some pivot tables actually created, and I can actually adjust those, and I can see other options and things. I can quickly be able to do that inside of the Google applications with the Explorer tool. So if you're interested in pivot tables, or you've kind of struggled with trying to create those, here's a good way for you to be able to do that. The other thing is I have the ability to be able to add charts to my spreadsheets very quickly. I can simply use the Explorer tool to grab and drag and drop those into my documents. I can actually hit the three dots and do a couple other things. I can edit the chart, I can delete the chart, I can save it as an image, I can publish a chart, I can move it into other documents. So that's a great way for me to be able to quickly access information using the Explorer tool, which is leveraging some of that artificial intelligence machine learning that we talked about earlier. So the Explorer tool is in a variety of different apps, and it's available for you to be able to use. You have more functionality in certain tools that you don't have in others, but it's definitely something I would encourage you to check out and try, because I think you'll find some benefit there as well. So, all right, so moving forward, let's talk about a couple other areas that you can maybe, when you're working with your staff, just kind of help with communication. One of the things that for me, I'm not a big fan of receiving a lot of emails. And so anything I can do to be able to kind of cut down that number of emails, I'm a huge fan of, and you may be in the same boat. I've not run across a lot of people that are passionately love getting a lot of emails. But these are a couple of ways I would kind of encourage it. I'm going to kind of focus on specifically the Google Plus community, but the Google Sites and Google Classroom are also great tools for you to be able to use if you're wanting to connect with your staff to build out resources. Google Classroom I've used in a variety of different ways if I'm wanting to work with maybe my first year teachers, or if I'm wanting to work with teachers who are struggling. It's a good way for you to kind of jump in and be able to have a classroom environment that you can work with them to help kind of support them as they're moving forward. But I really want to focus on the Google Plus community and that as a resource to be able to create communication on your campus or within the work that you're doing. So Google Plus is a great community for educators. You can build your own community inside of Google Plus, and I would encourage you to do that because it allows for you to be able to share information with your staff without having to send out emails. There is a Google Plus mobile app, so if you have that app, or if you are just using it inside of the browser and on your laptop and desktop, you can actually allow for that to be able to send notifications when things have been sent out to the community. So one of the things I did is I started to use a Google Plus community to share out information with my staff and talk with them and to share things and have an opportunity for them to engage with me inside of that community. One of the things I discovered is that I was doing that where it was really more of the communications from me to the staff and the staff to me, when really I want the greatest benefit I saw from it is when I allowed for and encouraged greater communication between the campus for them to share ideas and to share thoughts with each other. Because one of the things I've noticed just in every place that I've been is that teachers are doing great things, but oftentimes the person 2 doors down is not able to see that, and they're struggling with an issue that the person 2 doors down could easily help them with and help support them. So the Google Plus community allow for people to share out the things that they're doing, talk through some of the things that they've tried out, maybe talk about a struggle or something that they're looking for advice or help on. And it was a way for them to quickly get those resources and to be able to, hey, do we need to sit down and talk? Then let's sit down and talk and schedule a time to meet after we've kind of put some things inside the Google Plus community and shared kind of what resources you may be looking for. So great way to be able to do it. And just a quick tip, not everyone is going to want to engage into a social media platform or social platform like Google Plus. But one of the things I discovered, and I know that many people you will know this already, is that there's a lot of things that people will do for Gene coupons. So one of the things I would do is I would leave little things inside of the Google Plus just to kind of drive the eyeballs into that Google Plus community for them to see. And so that's something I would definitely encourage you to be able to do as well. So a couple other things. One of the things I'm a big fan of is YouTube. YouTube has saved me countless times for me to be able to learn and to be able to grow. And so it is, I've shared in sessions before, is that it's one of the things I've used to be able to repair my dryer when that went out in my house. But it's also something where I am constantly using YouTube to grow and learn how to do new things. And so YouTube is a great tool for that. One of the things that I would encourage you to do is to use the streaming features inside of YouTube by using YouTube Live, which allows for you to be able to connect with others and share out with a live streaming setup inside of YouTube Live or inside of YouTube. So one of the things that this idea comes from is that there's a principal friend of mine who actually used Facebook Live to actually connect with his parents that just were never able to make to meetings. He wanted to provide a way for them to be able to connect and to engage with the campus. And so he started to do Facebook Live, and he's very honest with the fact that it was a nerve-wracking experience for him to do the initial step of doing that because he didn't fully know how it was going to be received. But he saw a huge kind of increase in the engagement of his parents by doing the YouTube Live or doing Facebook Live. And you can do that same thing inside of YouTube Live by just simply sharing out the information or doing a broadcast where you're sharing either events or just kind of quick notes on things that are happening on the campus. One of the things that he talked about as well is the fact that he got an opportunity for parents to know that he was the principal for that campus, where some parents were, quite honestly, didn't 100% know who the actual principal was. And I know that sounds crazy, but think about the fact that sometimes parents may be so busy with work or other things that just the reality is that there may be a disconnect there. And anything we can do as educators to help support our stakeholders and make the ability for them to connect and for us to partner with helping their students be successful, we need to step out of our comfort zone and to be able to do those things. So definitely check those things out. Another option you can do is the YouTube playlist. Just as a quick note, it's a great way that, especially if you have, as you're building those fireside chats, that you can actually share out a playlist of all of those chats so that people can quickly access those at a later time. Think about the strategies and things that you may be sharing with your staff constantly, that you could actually have your teachers help you build that out. Maybe some tips for first year teachers and things that you could have a playlist that you can share with them that they can come back to and see at a later time. A great example of this, if you have not seen, is Google's Edu in 90. And they've actually just launched the new season of that, so you can check that out. So if you want to, you can click on that link and you can actually see those resources there. So a couple of things I want to touch on before we wrap up. So these are kind of things that are kind of beyond using G Suite, but I think they would be beneficial to the things that you're doing. Zapier is one of my favorite tools. If you've ever used If Then That, it's similar to that, but it allows you to do a lot more. So if you have ever used If Then That, which means if this happens, then this happens, which is great, but you may want for it to be where if this happens, then this happens, then this happens. If you want to string together several automations, then I would highly encourage you using or checking out Zapier, because I think it would be something that would be beneficial for you. So there's a link here for you to get to that. And then there's also a link for you to be able to check out a video that'll walk you through using that resource in your workflow. Flipgrid, I know a lot of people are using Flipgrid, and I'm wearing the Flipgrid shirt today. And so, but I'm really excited that Flipgrid is now free for everyone. If you have not heard, that's something you may want to check out. But one of the things I wish this was an idea that I came up with, but it is not, and I have the link that is here to the tweet that was shared out regarding this idea. But it's office hours with Flipgrid, and basically the concept is this. Think about the times when people stop by and maybe want to touch bases with you in your office, and you're out, you're doing walkthroughs, or you're doing something where you're just not available. The idea is that take a Flipgrid and actually set it up where you are moderating the communications there. So anytime someone would click on the link or scan a QR code that you've used with the link for that Flipgrid that you've created, then that allows for you to be able to have them leave a response or a message and communicating with you. and then you can moderate that. You'll get a notification that there's a message there. You can respond to it, or you can see that, hey, this is something I need to touch bases and we need to talk further about, and then you can schedule a meeting. So it's a good way for you to give the appearance and that you're available at all times, but also giving you that ability just to kind of make sure that your staff has the ability to connect with you in a variety of different ways. So something that you may want to check out and try. So any questions, please drop those in the chat and we can answer those. We're coming up on our time. I'm going to touch on a few slides really quickly, but any questions that are popped into the chat, I will answer those. And then I'll also drop in the link, or I'll go to the front so that everyone has the slide link as well. So with that said, I'm going to cover a couple things really quick, and then we'll jump into the questions for chat, or the chat for questions. So a couple things I'm going to point out. So this slide here is just to a project that I've worked on that I would encourage you to check out. If you click on the link, it'll actually take you to a video project of a series that I'm going to be doing over time that I would love to hear kind of some feedback on and for you to check out. If it is something that you want to check out, the future EduJournals that will be available, you can subscribe to the channel, but it's a project that I'm doing where I'm going to be highlighting educators and giving people an opportunity to see the great things that educators are doing, and also connect you with others, or connect with the people that we're highlighting, so that you can see what they're doing, what resources they have, and to be able to help maybe use the things that they're doing to help empower learners as well. So definitely check that out. A couple other things, if you have not heard of the Adobe Education Exchange, this is a great resource. It is 100% free, so you can check that out. There's a variety of professional developments that are available, from bringing podcasts to the classroom, or learning how to better use things like tools like Adobe Spark, or just using creativity or creating creative problem solvers. So definitely check that out. Once again, it is 100% free. Just creating your account, and then you are in and can start accessing those training materials. If you like, you can check out the website, my website, educopilot.com. It's a great way for you to connect with some of the resources I'll be publishing there as well. And then also our digital learning team at Region 10. These are some ways that you can connect with us as well. And so with our Region 10 website, you can see a variety of different trainings and things that are available. Our digital learning radio podcast, which is currently, we've ended our latest season, but we're going to be kicking that up soon. And then also our digital learning team monthly newsletter is here as well. And there are a variety of other ways that you can connect with the digital learning team as well. So with that said, I will turn it back over to go back to the front and give the link first of all. And then Catherine, I know that we're coming up on time, and if you see any questions, I can answer those, but I will turn it back over to you. I can't hear you, Catherine, so I don't know if you're still muted. Thank you, Catherine, for adding the slides, the link to the slides.
Okay, any questions or any other feedback? I'll add the link also in the Google Doc in the room, so then you'll have that for later if anyone wants to come back.
Awesome.
Okay, I think I'm going to end the recording now. Stop recording.